Hello there, and welcome to Recon Paint Gaming. I'm Patrick.
I'm Padre.
And today, Gale Force 9 and Flames of War and Battlefront games dropped.
The bomb.
A huge Christmas gift in everyone's lap. Oh
Yes,
my
yes.
goodness.
Christmas came a few days early, baby.
Yeah. So we're gonna just mostly talk. All we're gonna talk about is the World of Tanks announcement, because there was a lot to swallow in that bit of nugget or nut. Yeah, you can see it right there. Starter forces.
Platoon packs, baby.
Platoon packs.
Here's a platoon. Here's a platoon.
Yeah.
A box.
You can see them right there. There's going to be 4 box sets for each of the factions that are out right now. Germans, Americans, the Brits, and the Russians. You can see in the German pack, you're going to get the Tiger one, the Panzer H, and the Stug is going to be your starting. And they're going to slowly release each one and let us know what is in each pack. I'm curious as what cards are going to come in each pack. Are they going to be new cards? Or are they going to be the same?
New cards. I'm hoping new cards. I really am.
Because
I mean, give me some new tank commanders. Hey, why not, right?
Exactly. I mean,
give me some goodies.
And Gale Force, let us know if there is, because I love opening your packs and finding cards. It's a nice surprise, but I would like to know that they're in there beforehand. But yeah, I mean, it could be adjustments to the Panzer, because I just bought a book that I can't wait to start reading, but I have to wait until Christmas to open it, about the entire history of Panzers. So, I mean, it could be different variations of them, different points costs, different everything. The models look the same, but I don't care. I want to know what's for the cards.
Right.
And then, of course, same thing with the Stug and also the Tiger one, which I love the Tiger. It's one of my favorites.
And we can only speculate on what's going to be in the U.S. or in the U.K. or in
I can tell
USSR.
you, Sherman, Pershing, and probably.
Yeah, come on.
I would love a Stuart, but I think it's already tanks that are already released. They're not going to do any new tanks in these packs. It's just going to be what's already out, which is great, because this is probably going to be relatively around the same price. Gale Force 9 is good to us. They'll probably, I'm hoping like $30. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, $30 for 3 tanks.
Yeah.
Take my money. Take my money right now.
Absolutely.
Please take my money.
I could always use more. I literally like spread out all my cards that I have, and it took up most of my table. I have so many, but I could always use more.
And where these are going to be really good at is like, you got brand new players coming in, and it's like, oh, what tank should I really get? And it's like, here's a box full of goodness right here. You're going to be able to augment your collection.
So you buy the core set,
collector,
and you buy one of these.
More, yeah. Oh,
and there you go. You have 4 tanks in your platoon right to go.
Yep. With a smile on your face.
That's going to be good. All right. I would.
And don't forget.
What?
I mean, they're not only going to have just this one release of the U.S.
They're going to do more.
They're going to do it throughout the year.
And when is that coming?
I don't know if it's going to be every 3 months or every 4 months, but these are coming out in February. So, if you guys are smart, start begging your your local game store now.
Yes.
And I'm sure that they'll be up on the Gale Force 9 site as well, so you could pre-order them at some point. Just keep checking back.
Exactly.
Just keep going back. Just keep looking.
And I'm just going to go.
That's what you got to do.
I'm just going to size this over. We're now going to talk about Wave 10.
Wave 10. Oh, yes. Yeah, there was a little information about Wave 10.
There was a nice little nugget there that they dropped as well.
Well, the new tanks of what's coming out.
Oh, my goodness.
Where should we start with that, Patrick?
So I'm going to turn off our cams there. I want to start with the Churchill. It's one of my favorite tanks to play.
I always want to start with the English.
The Wolverine. Yeah, Eagle, that's a good suggestion. The Wolverine in that pack would be amazing. That's a solid tank destroyer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, we're also going to try something new, because, I've started noticing that we try to talk about the history of the tanks, but this is based off of the World of Tanks online game. So There's going to be some overlap. There's going to be some, muddy water as to what actually is historically accurate for these tanks as to how they play in World of Tanks Online. So what I
Right.
did is I grabbed what certain things are true about this tank and what things aren't, because this, like, the speed is going to be
Right.
accurate to what this tank could actually do out in the open. The damage output, it doesn't. You can't you can't ask the World War II vet how much damage did a Churchill do. You can't say, oh, it did 50 damage. Like, they're just going to say it put out this shell at this range, and is this
Right.
accurate, and it could penetrate these and these. Because this is a miniatures game, it's going to shoot at a tank that it might not be able to destroy, and it might score a hit that it normally would never be able to do. Also, I also noticed that when you look up what you can fit in the tank online is mirrored to the cards that they put out. So if you want to know what crew is going to be available in that tank, it most of the time aligns with what it is online, and also historically
Right.
sometimes. And then also I've grabbed the HP and the armor count, and I've tried to overlay
Yes.
that with older tanks as well that we've already seen, aligned it up, and this is how we're going to future judge possibly what these tanks could be stat-wise when
Yeah.
we get a hold of them. So are we
Well,
ready?
I'm so ready, Patrick.
All
I'm
right.
so ready.
So this is my best guesstimate because it is 25 kilometers an hour flat out aligned with other tanks. I think this thing's going to have a 2 movement compared to the Churchill 7, which was 1 movement. And this is going to be, of course, a heavy tank. It barely puts out any damage. It puts out less damage than it does with its counterpart, the Churchill 7 and the Churchill 4. So I'm going to put it down as a damage of 4. It could be less. You also might
Yeah,
be
we're
able to...
guesstimating.
Exactly. Also, you'll notice it does have 2 barrels out of the front of it that are relatively the same size. I didn't put in the loading speed, but apparently the Churchill one can fire at a very high speed, or it can fire multiple rounds per minute compared to other tanks as well.
Smaller breech, smaller shells.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm going to throw a wild guess out there that maybe this thing's going to be able to shoot twice in a turn, please? Maybe?
No.
Be the first tank to let us do that? I would love it if...
I wasted on a Churchill then.
I know that. I would like to see down the line, like, the tanks that have more of a rapid fire rather than a single shell. And it's only 3 attack, but you get to shoot more times in 1 turn. I would like to see it out of this tank. That'd be a great start for this. Maybe.
Okay.
Okay. It does have less health, so I put it at a whole of 5. Its armor is still ridiculously thick, even when compared to the other Churchills. So I'm still going to put, and also other tanks as well. So I'm going to put it as defense 3. With all this included, I'm going to put it at 51 points compared to 49 against the Churchill 7. What say you, Robert? Or anyone in chat?
I would say that it's going to be a more costlier tank. I think you're looking at 53 points.
Oh, 53. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think your initiative is probably spot on.
Initiative 6. Yeah, it's a little bit faster. It's, faster reload, able to shoot,
Movement,
shorter
2.
barrel.
I'm going with that. But the one thing I can honestly say is we're not sure which variant of Churchill we're going to see.
This is the Churchill 1. 822.
No, he said a Churchill.
He did say a
He didn't
Churchill, but from,
He did not say a Churchill 1. He did not say a Churchill 3. He did not say a Churchill 5.
But I
He
went
did not
online. I
say
saw the picture. It lines up perfectly. That's the Churchill 1.
Yeah.
Chat,
if
help me out,
those are
please.
The tanks. If those are the tanks, great. But, we don't know everything yet.
No,
So
this is definitely...
What I'm trying to do is say, would it be great if it was this tank? Yes, it would. But if it's another tank, I don't want anybody to be surprised. Oh, Patrick and Padre said blah, 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 blah. And it's like, Force 9 don't care what Patrick and Padre say.
Yes, they do.
But there's like with any game that comes out, there's speculation like we've been doing today. So
Exactly. And so, I mean, I've compared this with the KV. with of course the other Churchill, because this it's still pretty slow tank, but it is a little bit faster again, and then its counterpoint. So I would love a very cheap side heavy tank like my KV, and it'll give me a different option than the slow and cumbersome Churchill 7, which I haven't had the best luck with when it comes to getting it across the table. I'll have to use
it's a little slow.
Yes, because I can either recon or Sixth Sense. I can't do both.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the KV-1S, that one is 43 points, 2 survivability, 2 mobility, 4 initiative, 5 hit points. So you can kind of see, like, with the 6 initiative that I've given it, with the 3 defense, it would be a little bit more than the KV-1S. So I think 51 points is pretty good, especially with that extra movement. I really think that extra movement's going to all of a sudden make my Churchill fit perfectly with the rest of my list.
And let's face it, it's all about Patrick.
It is. Oh, of course, because it's all about everything that I want as a platoon leader.
Right. Right.
I want all my tanks that I own to be good and balanced. Oh.
So
where
are we going next?
We're going to the Nashorn, which
the Nashorn.
Okay, Nashorn.
So we're going. It's from Texas,
which is German, but it's like it sounds like it's from. It's yes, thank you, the rhinoceros. It sounds like it's from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, it kind of does. When you think about it, it kind of really does. The Nashorn, you're dead spot on with like defensive 0.
Yes. Okay. So this shocked me. I know these things don't have great armor, but when I saw, like, history-wise, and also as World of Tanks has it, this thing's armor was literally, it was nothing. It was like basically sheetrock, and it couldn't really defend against much except gunfire.
With a layer of foil.
It was literally there to stop from being shot at from like troops and maybe a light tank. But if you spotted this thing, it's not very big. It's like 9 feet wide. When you see the length of a tank, it includes the gun barrels, and this gun barrel is absolutely ginormous.
And it was only, with the gun, okay, it was 27, well, call it 28 feet.
Yeah.
Without the gun, 20 foot.
Exactly. So it's not very big.
It would fit in the parking spot at Walmart.
Yeah, it could hide very well. And from what I read, all of a sudden Hitler was like, I need something that's going to be able to pop some shots long range. So they gave him 2 different versions. There's the long barrel, short barrel, the 8.8 centimeter, and I can't convert back to what it was, but this looks like this is the 8.8 centimeter. But that's the thing. I set the damage a little bit different.
So that's 3.5 inches.
Yeah, it's and it was meant to take out things at long range. So it is 40 kilometers out in the open. That's pretty fast for this tank. So
yes,
I gave it
because it was not the heaviest thing out there.
No, okay. God, how many tons was it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's
24.
not 24. It's not very heavy.
No.
So this thing had 2 movement. I gave it the 5 to 6 damage because, as you can see, 135 to 240 from stats online with World of Tanks. That's up near Tiger.
It's a bloody tank killer.
I know, but that's up near the Tiger tank. That's up near the Pershing. Like, this thing could haul off and kill something.
Well, yes, because it had the freaking 88 on it.
So, and I put 5 to 6, and you said I don't think it's gonna be 5 to 6, but I put 5 to 6 because I think it's gonna come with 2 different barrels on it.
I think it's going to be more in the terms of 4 and 5.
Yeah, so it might be the 5, and then the 6 is the high explosive rounds.
And I'm thinking it might be the 4, and the 5 would be at the other barrel.
I don't think so. If that's the case, then the points would need to come down for that. Unless you can put the 10.5 centimeter on it, which I don't think they're going to let us do because it historically it couldn't go on the tank. So So you're going to have a commander, a gunner, a driver, a radio, a loader, I'm believing. You can see that the whole points are kind of up there. It's it's around the 670. The Churchill wasn't much more. Yeah, the Churchill was only 800, so I'm going to give it a solid 4 hull. It could be 3, but
I don't think it's going to be a 3, but I think it's not going to be no more than 4.
Yeah, definitely not more than 4. And of
And that's
course,
keeping with all the SPGs out there.
exactly.
Okay? And but this is this is a dedicated anti-tank gun. It's not the anti-aircraft 88. This is the 88. Yeah, I'm going for tanks gun. Okay, that's the Pack 43.
Yeah. So, and you both and I agree, 0. This thing's not going to have any defense whatsoever, but it is going to gain the in cover bonus. So it will have a base of 2 if it doesn't move, plus whatever you get. So, I mean,
Right.
I'm slapping maybe 34 points on this thing.
And I think also, I think it might actually have a movement of 3.
You think it's going to have a movement of 3?
Mm-hmm. I think there's a definite possibility that it could have a movement of 3.
Oh, that'd be really good if you could
Mm-hmm.
if you could recon this
Mhm.
thing into a nice spot on your opponent's side of the board while they charge you, and you could just fire from behind, just like basically like the M10 Wolverine and the what's the other tank? Not the M10, the next level up that just came out.
For which one?
The
Hummel?
Americans, the Hellcat, the Hellcat
Hellcat. Yes.
with the
I'm
3 movement.
about the Hummel?
No, the Hellcat. Those things are absolutely phenomenal with that 3 movement. So I
Yeah.
don't think it'll have the 3 movement, but if you think so, we'll have to take note of that when they do release the cards.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, this sucker was going darn near 27 miles an hour
I know.
for that big ass gun. Okay.
I
'Cause
really
nobody liked an 88.
no.
Nobody liked it.
And that, like, as soon as these things are spotted, that's your target. But man, were
Yeah.
they hard to spot.
And once again, open air.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had something in the front, a little bit on the sides, and less in the back. But
See,
if that round's coming down like that,
The only thing
bad things happen.
Yeah, the only thing I'm flipping a coin on is if it has light flank, because if it has 0 defense, the light flank is going to hurt it if it's in cover. But I mean, none of the SPGs have light flank, and they're all open top. So I'm almost going to gamble that this thing does not have light flank like the rest.
It wouldn't surprise me if it did not have it.
Exactly, because it has defense 0. It's like
Yeah.
it's going through the armor like butter, anyways. It's like doesn't
Yeah.
matter where you shoot at it. The armor is almost exactly the same in the sides, in the front, and the back. It's like a little bit less, only because the height of the armor has nothing to do with like
Right.
thickness.
Well, and the tank is close to 9 foot tall. It's 8 foot 8 inches tall.
Exactly.
So, I
It's
mean-
not tall.
I mean, it will. The entire tank will fit in my family room.
That's a goal.
Honey, all I want for Christmas.
Yeah, I just want a tank in my living room. The barrel will not fit in your living room. I see in your living room. All right.
Yeah, it will fit in my living room.
That barrel, never.
Yeah.
All right. If anybody has a, just sitting here, if anyone has a Nashorn to give
I
to
live in
Robert,
Sterling Heights, Michigan.
just please drop it off at his house to see if he can fit it in his living room. We'll
Hey,
have to
look at the
disassemble.
gift I got for Christmas.
Yeah, you won't be able to fit it through the door. You have to disassemble the whole tank.
I got an 8 foot wide door.
Exactly. All right, T-54. And this is the funny part. I think we should have saved the T-54 for last, but
No, but I know you like to torture me. So
yeah, no,
we're gonna do
like the
54
Super
now.
Pershing is a Super Pershing. I mean, it has the word super, so obviously it's last.
So you know I get excited.
And nobody talks about Russian tanks anyways, but
Yeah, nobody talks about
this
those
thing,
anymore.
medium tank, 56 kilometers an hour flat out.
Yeah,
That is fast. The damage that I could tell on this thing is above the Super Pershing.
yes.
The
But why?
Well, because it's a bigger gun, I'm gonna assume.
But why?
Why was it? Why did it have a bigger gun than the Super Pershing?
Mhm.
I want you to tell me, because I know you know.
Okay, this tank did not start into production until 1950.
When did the war end again?
1945, August,
Exactly.
the E-Day, right?
So
So
this
so
is a big
so
reveal. This is huge for the game.
now this tank they had a prototype at the end of 45. So November, December, they had a prototype.
Yep.
Not a production, a prototype. It wasn't until the 50s that they started manufacturing this, and they didn't stop manufacturing this until 1981 in Russia.
So I'm gonna
There
let.
are still countries today
Yep.
using the T-54.
I'm going to. If people aren't catching on, that means that tanks that are not in World War II but are in World of Tanks are making it into the tabletop game, and they're going to be scaled appropriately. That's such amazingly cool, awesome news.
That's the big one right there.
We have been shoving like the Mouse, MAUS. If you don't know what that tank is, it's about the size of my helm.
Yes.
They made two towards the end of the war, but they never made it into production. The thing is bigger than the Yog Tiger.
Bigger than a freaking double-decker bus just about from England, dude. This thing is, it's amazing.
Because we've already seen
this tank
Yeah.
has always been a bad mamma jamma of a tank.
Yeah. So the only downside to this that I could see so far, it only has 4 chairs: comm or commander, driver, gunner, loader / radio for World of Tanks Online.
Right.
So, and I'm gonna assume it's gonna be the same for this.
Gonna have 4 slots.
It's because it doesn't
And
have a
one
lot
is
of room
either
in it.
or.
Yep.
Either you're going to put in the radio operator or you're going to put in the loader.
Exactly.
But who knows what future cards will hold?
Yeah. Oh man,
You know,
this thing is gonna be.
Maybe there'll be a specialist who does radio operator loader card.
Yeah. There's definitely gonna be combined abilities.
Right. So maybe that's one of your 2-for-1 specials.
Jeez. This thing, same health as a Super Pershing. It has more than a Tiger 1, so I'm already thinking that it's going to have 8 to 9 hull. It may have 8, but it could have 9. 1 less than the Yog Tiger. But the Yog Tigers
is an 8.
The Yog Tigers
safe bet's an 8.
Yeah, safe bet's an 8. Its armor is I think a little bit less than the Churchill 1. So I'm assuming 2 defense. It could be 3, but the Churchill 1 defense is like another 30 to 40 points. Or I'm sorry, no, another 50 points for World of Tanks Online. So I'm guessing this is going to be a defense 2, which is still pretty good because it's going to have a mobility of 3. I'm going to bet my bottom dollar it's got a movement of 3.
Well, I mean, it was what's the best way to put it? It was a very fast tank.
Oh man,
it had to get up and go. You're looking up anywhere from 500 to 800 horsepower engine. That's for the later units that were coming out.
Yeah.
But it was just, Jesus, let's go, let's get up and go.
Yeah,
and it had good speed across bad ground. So I mean, this thing was like one of the best tanks, in my opinion, that was ever made.
Towards the end of the war.
Or
even today.
It did really well in Korea.
Yeah, that is true. So that's what I also need to figure out, because this is the first time we're doing this. Its damage is 320 in World of Tanks Online, depending on the barrel. And so I also looked at the Yog Tiger Online. We all know that has a 7 attack power. And World of Tanks Online, it has this like a 600 attack power. And that's so now it's okay. There must be a scale. So at a certain point, that's when you go up, and plus they have to scale it for the game. So I'm gonna say flat out, this thing is a 6 damage right out of the gate.
I would concur.
No second guessing. So
I don't think it's gonna be 7 though.
I don't think it's gonna be 7. No. But that's the thing. How could it be as powerful as the Yog Tiger? That's my question.
But if we're bringing in pretty much what in essence a Korean Vietnam era tank. Okay.
Yep.
When do we see the pattern?
Yeah, that's another.
That was a Korean tank.
Yeah, it's going to depend on, is it in World of Tanks Online, and that's all they have access to, and where it's going to start and where it's going to stop.
Do they stop and do they say, hey, let's throw in a Centurion? Right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, this board game that we're playing, we have to get our minds out of the mindset of it's all World War II, because it's not. In a video game, you have little happy fun surprises.
True. Yeah, and even Eagle says the M50 Sherman. Exactly.
Don't get me excited, Eagle.
Yeah, so I think Russian tanks usually have initiative of 6 because they're just fast. Everything's fast.
Yep.
So initiative 6, a hull of 8 or 9, I put 8, and a solid defense of 2. I'm going to put 89 points. Combined with all of that, it's got 1 more damage than the Tiger 1, another movement, a higher initiative, the same hull, and the same defense. And the Tiger is, I think, 71 or 73.
I'm thinking 84, 85.
84, 85.
Which is not terribly far off, but I think it's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's where it's going to sit. Are you ready to head over to the Super Pershing?
I have been waiting for you to get here all night.
Super Pershing. Do you have the stats up in front of you?
I do have the stats. So you're looking at, a 40 kilometers per hour, right? So we're going to say movement of 2, because for a medium tank, it's a big sucker. Now the 240 damage equates to what we kind of figure out, maybe a 6 damage. The Pershing, the M26, right?
Yep.
Is already at 6 damage. So I'm thinking that
could it be
Pershing
7?
Go to 7.
So that's my guess. I'm going to assume it's going to start at 6, and there's going to be some sort of upgrade that pushes it to 7.
Right.
That's
now,
my
what did you
guess.
Put the initiative at?
So for the initiative, I put it at a 4. It is a little bit slower than its younger brother, the Pershing, so it's probably going to be a little bit lower initiative. I could be wrong. It could be a 5 or a 6, but that's my best guess.
I think a good solid 5. This is just my personal opinion, okay?
Well, yeah, like it's
hull,
brother.
8, easy 8. Easy 8 on the hull.
Yeah,
no, I don't say no to that at all. Defense, 2, solid.
See, this is my hard part, because the one you have the 187 Churchill that we're saying is at 3. This is 187. We're gonna put 2, but it could be a 3. It very well could be a 3 defense.
And if it was a 3, it just gives me more to love. It really does.
Oh man. But yeah, it would add to the amount of points.
You're light on the 80 points.
See, I don't know if I am, because again, you have
maybe 87.
You have the T-54 that has an extra movement, and it is a higher initiative already as well. And if that's at 89, and if these stats are correct, then 80 would be appropriate. But I also think I wrote down 2 instead of 3 for the defense. That's my only thing that I wish I would have written down, written down, is the 3 defense instead of a 2. But man, yeah. I mean, we're probably going to be told that we're crazy, or that we're wrong, or that, I have better. But please, yeah, give us your thoughts on what they should be worth, what their stats should be. Oh, you're on mute, I think, bud.
Okay, so
there you go.
When they tested this sucker, 2,600 yards against a Jagdpanzer 4.
Yep.
It went through the front harbor, through the tank, out the back, and embedded into the ground.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The only problem was the shell was freaking 50 inches long.
Yeah, you needed very strong men to lift those shells.
Okay, and 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 the turret. I mean, though it's I know it's a medium tank.
We did not have a heavy tank. Don't get started.
No, we didn't have a heavy tank, but the size of the turret just it was just bang crash pow boom. It was not a fast loader
No,
because it's a 50-inch shell.
it's
I mean,
yeah.
it's 4 foot 2 inches. Okay,
That's
4 foot
so
two
massive.
inches. Right? It was cramped. It was very difficult to work with. Um,
I've seen where they store the ammo in, because I've been looking at blueprints and stuff like that, and seeing where they store the ammo in just the ammo compartment. It isn't big, but it
nope.
is because the shells are huge. So like a
Yes.
person could like maybe two people could climb into an ammo crate for where these shells were stored in a tank. But
Well, small people, but
yeah,
it's it's a big, big,
it's a very huge
big
shell.
shell. I mean, it's big. It's the only
So
way.
I mean,
And
we could be
there's
wrong.
there's a counterbalance off of the back end of the turret because it's so huge of a barrel.
I
I
know,
mean,
and it's
it's
long,
it's not only
accurate.
90 millimeters, but it's longer than anything else.
Yeah. So I mean, we could easily say that the damage is 7, but I can't wait to see these to see how accurate we are to see then how close we can be in the future.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming they're gonna make it a 6, and then if you want that 7, you're gonna have to pay for the points, which is why this is gonna be 80 for me. And then you want that 7, you're gonna have to pay 12 points for it. Now you're a 92 point tank. And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, see, I can understand why that's more priced appropriate. Or maybe
Well,
20
but
points.
I
I
mean,
don't know. But
I
I'm
mean
very
this
excited for this tank.
this thing was like 46, 47 tons.
Yes. Which would be
you know,
around two
you
two
know,
of the Nashorns.
and it had a fantastic speed of 22 miles an hour.
Uh,
Um,
See, for a tank that size, that's incredible. I mean, I know that
yeah,
the
but it's a
T54.
medium tank.
Yes. Well, the T54 is the same thing. That's also another medium tank. It's not a heavy. Meanwhile, the
Yeah.
Churchill
So
is, and it's
right,
just because the armor on that
you know,
thing, it's the armor. That thing's ridiculous when it comes to
but
armor.
like the front armor though was like almost 4 inches thick.
That's the other thing about it. Yeah. Armor did not
Okay,
come thin. Eh,
and it's just like, and do you know how many of the Super Pershings they made, Patrick?
Oh, how many? I knew this earlier today.
25.
Yeah, it was not many. So that's the other thing with the Nashorn. They only produced about 200 of them. They produced 100 with the short, 100 with the long, and that was it.
But they were cheap and
Yes,
easy
the
to
Nashorn's
produce,
ridiculously cheap
and
to make.
so it was. Let's face it, they didn't have a lot of money going on
No,
towards the end of the war.
no, not towards the end of
Let's
the
get
war.
these out here, so, but, let's face it. Okay, how many of these tanks am I going to buy?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
one
I'm
of
going to get all four.
I'm definitely gonna
I'm
buy
going to
one
get
of
one of
each.
each, right?
Depending
Why would you
on
not?
because I love the German tanks. I love tank destroyers. Depending on how cheap the Nashorns are, I might, because I mean what is it? The Jagdpanzer is 29 points. Is the cheapest.
Yeah,
It's one of the cheapest tanks that you can get, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly. Um, I mean, I put 34, but it could be less.
yeah.
But the Jagdpanzer is only 3 hull. This thing's 4.
But it's just such a beast, and
Yeah, because of its firepower.
for a fixed gun, okay, with stupid limited traverse, and okay, it was so touchy with its controls that they were able to work with that.
Yeah.
That if you could target it, you were destroying it.
Yeah. Yes. Then that's the thing. It's a paper cannon. That's what it's
Yeah,
literally designed to do.
and that's the thing right there. I mean, it's just yeah, the sad part was, I mean, at its thickest, its armor was, you know, about a shade over an inch thick.
I'm like holding on my fingers like that thick, and that's if you threw
It
your
was,
coat over it.
it's a shade over an inch thick.
Yeah,
It's
it wasn't. It
was
wasn't there to protect them.
disgusting.
Again, it's there to stop troops from
Yeah,
shooting at it, and maybe it'll stop a bazooka, like maybe.
yeah.
If it doesn't like hit it right and explode all over the people inside. But I'm excited for the Churchill. I'm gonna buy that one just because I really want to see what its stat cards are. I already have like 3 Churchills, so I don't need the tank. So I might paint it, and I might paint that sucker and give it away during our next league, which is going to be starting soon. I have to send out the prize to Talnos. The bag is literally behind me. I have to ship it to Padre so he can finish it up. I've created a nice plaque for Talnos, and we're going to give him some tank treads with some initiative tokens in it. As winning.
Here's your plaque, you filthy animal.
Exactly. I can't wait for the Super Pershing stat card because I hope we're in the ballpark, and I know some people will let us know, like, yeah, you were either way off or really close.
Yeah. And I think, let's see, we talked about the quarterly waves are going to be continuing.
Yeah, so you're still going to be getting tanks normally.
4 new tanks.
So wave 11.
Every 3. 11, so we got 10, 11, 12, and 13. They're going to be coming out in 23, right?
And then February's coming out with the triple packs. 3 tanks per faction. No news on new factions yet or new nations.
Interesting thing too, though.
Mm-hmm.
According to the video, new tanks that you never thought Battlefront would make.
Oh my God.
Everybody who's watching right now in the chat room, speculation begins now. I'm thinking maybe, since we're going to be having some fun with throwing in a couple of Korean era tanks or whatever, maybe having, I don't know, Hobart's Funnies, where you've got the flail tank, which is going to be looking for mines, or a bridging tank, or how about the Calliope Sherman tank?
Well, it has to be. Yeah, am I allowed to speculate? As long as you don't know Battlefront miniatures. If you know the answer,
you so are allowed to speculate. Please do, because we'll only be watching all of it.
We'll treat it like World Series of Poker. You can't tell us what's in your hand. You can only tell us what's not in your hand.
Yes. But if you really want to tell us what's coming out, please feel free. Or just give me a call. You have my phone number.
Exactly. I mean, I want to see the mouse. We've already mentioned that. I want to see, the SPG Valentine versions. Those are always fun because the Valentine was literally just a Lego. You disconnect the top, slap on another, and use it for something else.
Well, let's face it, the Sherman was that way, though. I mean, it was such a versatile tank.
Yep. I definitely want to see, like you said, some of the Korean tanks, and I know it hasn't been. It was a tank, but it's not one of those things.
Come on! In that case, I might have to keep
exactly.
Quiet. No, there's no quiet. It's just us here. It's just you and us. Who are we gonna tell?
Exactly. So I definitely want to see some of those tanks that are in World of Tanks online, but are not World War II tanks. I would even like to see prototype tanks that were technically. I mean, I already mentioned some, but I want more prototype tanks.
Mouse.
I want to see prototype tanks that were towards the end of the war that never really saw action. Okay,
I'm gonna say it again. Mouse.
That thing, it would take up the whole table.
Your point is,
you know what?
The
mouse.
If you want to charge me $25 for the mouse, I will buy it.
It would make a great scenario. You just have the mouse on the table. It just has 10 attack power and 40 health,
and everybody's got to kill me within 12 turns.
Exactly.
If you can do that, great.
Yeah, I want to see more Sherman variations because, the Shermans are always fun.
You know what, Patrick? I mean, since we've got Battlefront miniatures here in the chat with us.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want us to talk about?
Yeah.
Say
Anything that you want to...
Adepticon. Oh,
Ooh.
let's talk about Adepticon.
Pre-war. Yeah. I would love to see...
Oh.
Well, I would like to see some of the Chinese tanks. I would like to... I know they haven't mentioned those yet. I would like to see...
Are you talking the Japanese tanks?
Right. Well, yeah, both, right? Didn't the Chinese have tanks?
Well, in Korea, but World War II was
But we're going into Korea War, so I would like to see some Chinese tanks, and I would like the Japanese as well. And then also Italians. I would love some Italian tanks.
I don't want to see the Italian tanks.
Listen, it's a thing. It's a trope. I love it. I just want Italian tanks.
You just want the spaghetti.
I do.
It's all about the pasta, eh?
Yeah. Like Robert said, Adepticon's coming up at the end of March. And they're having a tournament there.
48 spaces available for their tournament.
Yep.
In Adepticon.
I'm trying to figure out a way to go just for that day.
Shut up. You are going.
Listen, I have to really pinpoint on the day that I can get out there and fly back in time. But I want to make it for Saturday to where I wake up, go to the tournament, play, and go home.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, if that's at all possible.
Because we may have to drink on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. No, there's definitely going to be drinking. That's for sure.
So we're definitely going to cover it.
Yes, we're going to be there. And
oh, God, yeah.
Going to try and figure out some way to get a camera pointed at the table.
Oh, yeah. And I know Uncle Mark is he wants to play in it, too.
Yep.
So,
Maybe get Andy, too.
Oh, Andy's coming. He
Exactly.
doesn't have a choice.
He doesn't have a choice. All right.
Coming.
Anything else right now? Because, I mean, that was a lot of news that they dropped on us. They barely gave us any information, but we were able to go with it like a kid in a kite during
Thank you, Battlefront.
Yes.
For, 3 days ahead of Christmas, you gave us just absolutely wonderful news. Thank you for keeping us informed with all of the goodies. We certainly appreciate it. I know Patrick and I do, and I'm pretty sure everybody out there who's enjoying this game is appreciative of you guys being so forthright with your information. That's just absolutely fantastic.
We're getting tanks that don't exist in Flames of War, Battlefront. They're creating new tanks and new molds for this particular game. So clearly something's going well, and I'm excited.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Just a fantastic game. Just an absolutely fantastic game. We are so enjoying it.
Absolutely. All right. I think that's going to do it. Unless anyone else,
so too.
If anything or anybody has anything else in the chat, please go visit www.reconpaintgaming.com for all of our social medias, our store, our merch, all that stuff. Go check it out. Go ahead and click follow for when we go live for videos like this. And also, if you want to click subscribe, but you really don't have to, you can click subscribe and throw us internet dollars, or go check out recontokens.com for all of your token needs, because we sell tokens for every tabletop game that you can think of. And if you don't see it there, you can hit us up and we can create a custom order for you, no extra charge. And also, we just started a new podcast for World of Tanks.
Yeah, we already have one episode in.
We do have one episode in. We talked about our league, the results of that, what we saw on the table, and all that stuff. So if you head over to Spotify, because we also are on Anchor, that's that's how we did it. It's free, so it's called World of Tanks Miniatures Podcast, and you can listen to us. We already have 10 downloads. Oh yes,
whoa,
monsters!
Yes. and for all 10 of you that downloaded, we thank you very, 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 very much.
Exactly.
And the only other thing I got, Patrick, is I just want to wish everybody out there who's going to watch this within the next few days or whatever. Patrick and I are so thankful for everybody that's supported us through all this insanity that we do.
Yes.
And we just want to wish you guys a very good holiday season and have a great new year. And just get out there and game and play and have a great time with your friends.
Yes, and drive safely, especially in Michigan right now. Drive safe.
Yeah, it's Snowmageddon.
Exactly. So, All right, with that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Yep, Merry Christmas, Eagle. And other than that, yeah, play casually.
Yeah, absolutely. So, see ya.
Later.